Drink some water, please, in case you haven't yet. You dehydrated, lovely person. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, for visiting my channel. My name is Coach Magali. If this is your first time here, I talk all about fitness, nutrition, all of the content to help you get in shape without the fluff, without the BS, and just give you the stuff you need to actually get you to your goals. And that's exactly what we're doing today. So if that's content you like, make sure you subscribe down below, like this video for more content like this, follow me on Instagram. Everything will be linked down below for you. We're going to talk about 6 common gym mistakes that beginners make that hold them back from seeing progress. Gonna first start off by saying the obvious, but I know needs to be stated again. You're going to fuck up, okay? It doesn't matter how much you prepare, how much you plan for it, consume all the content you want, all of it, and it's still not going to prevent you from making any mistakes. That's kind of ironic with this video, right? Like, why are you telling me mistakes if I'm going to make them anyways? Well, I'm trying to avoid as many mistakes as possible, but accept the fact that you're going to make mistakes and do a machine wrong. You're going to do an exercise with horrible form at some point. We've all done it. We've all been there. If somebody says that they haven't experienced that and that they knew everything from the beginning, they're either lying to you or they're playing it so safe and not getting the results they want. Because in order to push yourself, in order to see results, in order to get to where you want to be, you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. So the point that I'm making is, don't avoid them completely. Yes, it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to feel a little bit scared. You're doing something different. You're doing something new. But if you lean into that discomfort and you push through it and you put yourself out there, you're going to get better. Although you'll make mistakes, every step will be closer to you getting better. That was a little motivational, cheesy slot right there, but I think it's important that we mention that so that you drop the expectation that you're going to be an expert day one. You're not. Okay, now let's get into the mistakes. Mistake number 1 is not having an idea or a plan of what you're going to do when you're walking in. So many people get to the gym, they sit on the machine, then they start Googling and searching and Instagramming for a routine to follow. You're making it up as you go, but there's no real intention behind it. There's no structure. There's no preparation for it. There's a few problems with this. 1, you don't have any structure or any intention behind what you're doing. And in order to get results with training, like, there's a difference between exercise and just working out and training. Exercise and working out is just getting your sweat on, working out a few muscles and calling it a day. That's fine. That's totally fine. But if your goal is to build a butt, is to grow your legs, is to get stronger, to improve your form, you need to be training. You are training for a goal. Exercise and working out is just a one-time thing or a few-time thing. You need to have some sort of plan of what you're doing that you follow on a regular basis. We all know this. In order to get better at something, you need to repeat it. In your job, you do things over and over again to get better. The same applies to your training. So if you're coming in, searching a workout on the fly, you're not going to have that security that you're just going to leave it up to whatever Instagram algorithm decides to show you that day. The second problem with that is you waste more time. And when you waste more time, you get less done, therefore less results. It takes so much mental energy and so much time sitting there and trying to figure out what you're going to do that it takes away from your actual routine. If you have an hour and you spend 20 minutes searching for what you're going to do, you just lost 20 minutes that you could have used in actually working out if you had done that research beforehand. You'll always hear people say, follow a program, follow a program. You're like, okay, but what does that mean? It just means you sit down every 4 to 6 weeks, you line out what your goals are, you line out what you want to accomplish, then you decide what exercises you're going to do on what days, and then you stick to that routine for 4 to 6 weeks. If you're curious on how to do that in more detail, I have 2 videos. Watch those. I go into more detail and I explain thoroughly how to actually do this. But once you sit down and you plan your routine, you know exactly what you're going to do on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Saturday, your 3 days that you're going to the gym. You'll waste less time and you're actually going to get further along because you're following something that is structured and repetitive. 80 to 90% of your training should be the same week after week to master form, to master technique, to master your strength, to get better, to improve, build the muscle, and see the results that you're looking for. So every month, every 4 to 6 weeks, assess where you're at, where you want to go, what goals you have, what workouts you want to try. Write out your plan. Again, I'll link the videos below so you can watch exactly how to do that. but do not skip this step. It will cost you a lot. Take it from me, it took a very long time of me aimlessly wandering around and searching workouts. You will waste so much time, you will lose out on so much progress, and it'll just be so much more frustrating if you don't take the extra time in the beginning to plan for your workouts. Next mistake, which goes in accordance to following a structured plan, is write everything down. Write what you do at the gym. Every time you're there, every exercise, every set. This is so overlooked. It's ridiculous. And I sometimes get frustrated with people when I've talked to them and I tell them, like, log your notes, and then 4 months later I see them like, did you log your notes? No, I didn't. And they're still in the same place and they're not progressing. Here's why it's so important, okay? It's not like writing it down magically gives you muscles. There's a couple of reasons for this. The first one is that it ensures that you're making progress. Let's say last week on the squat machine you did 50 pounds and it was pretty dang easy. You increased it to 65 that session towards the end. Next session comes around next week when you repeat your workout, because every week should be the same. You see your notes. 50 pounds was super easy. 65 is where I left off. Let me try 70. You try 70 next week, you have more energy, you've progressed, you're able to get it. Had you not had that note, you would have probably aimed for 50 to 55, and you would spend more time figuring out that you left off at 65. But if you had your notes, you can jump right into that and save a couple of seconds. A couple of seconds turns into a couple of minutes over the course of time. It's a lot of time that you're wasting or saving if you're doing this. Second thing, it's motivating. It's motivating to see 50 pounds last week was easy, 65 is easy this week, 70, 80. When you're in those moments of self-doubt and you're not getting the results that you want, you have a plateau going on, everybody's going to go through those periods. You can look at your notes and be like, yo, you've gotten stronger. You're doing more weight. You're getting better form. You're doing more sets. You're doing more reps, whatever. And the only way to have actual evidence of that, not just telling yourself this, but physical evidence, is to see your notes. The only way that we see progress in the gym is through progressive overload, if the goal is to build muscle and get stronger. Progressive overload is the only thing that will measure your progress in the gym. If we are getting progressive overload, then we are progressing, then we are building more muscle. Progressive overload is simply progressing the load over time, right? Pretty self-explanatory. And the only way that can be achieved is if you're doing more weight and you're doing more reps. So if you're consistently pushing more weight or more reps every time you're in the gym, week after week after week, because you have your notes, because you have a frame of reference, you're going to ensure you actually see progress. If we don't have notes, if we don't have any record, we're not going to push ourselves as much because we don't have anything to compare it to. So if it feels hard, it must be hard, right? But last week it was easy. I know I can push more than that. And having that information is a game changer. Please write your stuff down. Take 2 seconds after each set and write it down. Don't wait till the last minute because we start to forget things as the workout progresses. Incredible what this simple thing does for you. Do it in a journal, do it on your phone, do it however it is that you're gonna actually do it consistently, but do it. Promise you, it's going to save you so much time. You're going to be so much more confident in yourself, and you're going to see way better results. Next on the list of mistakes is not learning alternatives to the structured program that you come up for yourself. When I was going to commercial gyms, I remember how frustrating it was that I had a routine that I wanted to follow and everything was taken, and it was always taken no matter what time I went, and I was shy, I was nervous, I didn't want to go up to people and ask, hey, can I use it? Or, hey, are you almost done? I just kind of retracted and stayed in my own world. I either didn't do the exercise or I did something else that was completely unrelated to what I had to do. And the point of a plan is to have a plan, to follow it. So you don't want to be deviating every time you go to the gym because it's busy. So if you learn some alternatives for the commonly taken machines, or if you just want to be prepared for as many machines and exercises that you have in your plan. Googling during the gym, again, is going back to the first point. You want to have your plan ready to go before you even get there. Now, there's moments where even the alternative will be taken, and you'll have to kind of rack your brain and think on the fly at the time. There's times for that, and that's totally fine. But don't let that be because you weren't prepared. Things happen. Sometimes it's incredibly busy. The dumbbells are all taken. The machines are all taken. The bars are all taken. But you practice enough learning alternatives, you're going to get better at spotting things. You're going to be able to learn how to use machines in different ways, in unconventional ways, to match what your plan is asking you to do. Far too many people don't take the time to learn alternatives, don't take the time to find a plan B, and so what ends up happening is they just kind of skip it, which hurts their progress in the long term, or they do something else which is not attacking what they needed to do. These are the things that are going to happen anyways. You know the gym is busy, you know what machines are typically taking, you know what you usually have a hard time getting, so then make those alternatives a priority to learn so that you're not stuck without a plan. Next mistake is doing too much junk volume, too many things with not enough intensity. If you're spending a lot of time at the gym, more than 6 or 7 exercises and doing a bunch of sets, a bunch of reps, but never really pushing each set with true intensity, you're wasting time. At that point, you're just exercising. You're not training. In order to progress and to get a muscle to get stronger and to get a muscle to grow, you need to push it close to failure. This is the part that people miss so often. It's not about how much you do, or how many sets, or how many reps, or even how much weight you're doing. Are you pushing the set to true failure, or close to true failure? Going to true failure too often is going to end up in injuries, but you need to be going close to it on pretty much every set. Too many people do warm-up sets and call that training. Let's say you do 3 sets of 12 on a leg press. You feel a little tired, it started hurting a little bit, it was a little bit uncomfortable, but if you could do it with relative ease, you were able to finish and even have a conversation after. It's too easy. I do need to mention that this is after you have learned your technique, you have learned your form, because the worst thing you can do is push heavy and intense sets if your form is off, because you can risk getting hurt. But once you've mastered your form and you're pretty confident on what you're doing, those last 4 reps should feel like death. You should have the thought in your head, I'm done, I can't do one more. And like actually feel that. Your speed should slow down tremendously. Here's an example of what that looks like. This is what your sets need to be looking like. Everything. Your squats, your leg presses, your split squats, your shoulder presses, your lat pull downs. Everything should have this type of intensity, and that's what's going to be the most effective to building the muscle. So stop spending hours and hours in the gym doing a million things at once. Shorten the amount of exercises you do, shorten the reps, increase the weight, and push. And you do that consistently over time, you're going to get better. And that's why it's so important to log your things, because you can ensure that you're pushing every time. You're not letting your brain decide in the moment how it feels. You're going based off of data and fact. Data and facts over feelings, okay? When it comes to training. Your feelings lie. Your mind will quit before your body is actually done. Decrease the amount of things you're doing. If you find that you're not really getting anywhere, focus on 5 to 6 exercises per session, maybe 8, nothing more than that, and make sure you're pushing hard. It's going to pay off massively in the gains, in the progress, in the confidence. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to hurt a lot more than you want it to hurt, but it's going to be worth it. You're going to suffer, but you're going to like it. The next mistake is not resting enough. Because your intensity and your effort is so low, you're able to rest 30 seconds and jump right back into your next set. You're not supposed to rest 30 seconds. 1.5 minutes at the bare minimum, like bare minimum. 2 to 3, maybe 4 minutes if you're pushing really, really heavy or really, really hard. 1.5 to 4 minutes. Over that, kind of overkill. Less than that, it's too fast. If you're pushing the proper intensity, you're going to be thankful for those few minutes. The 2 minutes are going to be over. You're going to be like, shit, it's time to go again. Resting too little is not good for you. Your muscles are getting basically beat during an intense set. You need to give it time to return to its original state. You need to give it time to recover so that you can push the next set with just as much intensity. What happens when people rest too little, again, either they're not pushing hard enough, or if they are and they rest too little, their body is not capable of producing effective sets. Their form starts to break down. They have to lower the weight. They have to do less sets, less reps. But if you just took a minute and rested, then you can actually come back and push even harder the next set and continue to make the progress that way. So put a timer on your phone, on your watch, whatever it may be. Take the time to rest. You need it. Don't bypass it. Don't think that it's better to work out faster. Resting less time does not benefit you in any way. It doesn't result in more calories burned. It doesn't result in more muscle built. In fact, it does all of the opposite of that. Injury risk is higher. It's just a bad thing. Rest, recover, take your time, watch a video if you need to, take it seriously. Just as you push in your set, I want you to push the rest as well. The last mistake that I want to talk about, and I did touch upon this a little bit in the beginning, is not keeping your workout routine, your workout plan, your workout methods consistent enough and changing things up every week or even every day. You need to have structure. Again, back to point one. You need to have a routine. You need to have things that you repeat week after week after week. If everything is constantly changing, even if you log things in, you're not going to have a good sense of if you're progressing or not. So for example, what this looks like in a week, let's say you work out 3 days a week, 3 full body days. Full body day 1, full body day 2, and full body day 3. Each of these 3 should be a little bit different so that you're targeting the muscles and you're targeting your performance in a different way. Maybe one day you do a barbell squat, the next full body day you do a deadlift, and then the last one you do a squat machine. But those 3 workout routines should be the same every week for at least 4 to 6 weeks. If you took notes, you're going to increase as many of those as you can by either increasing the reps or increasing the weight. And this goes for every single session you do in a week. Every week it should be repeated and just progressed upon if you can. Sometimes you're not going to be able to progress on some exercises. You'll have a little plateau. Maybe you'll even have to go down because you're exhausted that day. That happens, and it's part of the process. You're not going to get better every single time. But in order for you to accurately know if you're making progress, if you're seeing those results, and to be able to track those increases in performance, you need to have the same routine week after week. Again, for at least 4 to 6 weeks. 4 if you get super bored and you need to switch it up. 6 weeks ideally is a little bit better because you have more time to practice, more time to get better, more time to improve mistakes, improve your technique, so forth and so on. And this doesn't mean that at week 6 you're going to completely change things around unless, again, you're either getting hurt or you're severely bored. For the most part, keep the backbone of the workout the same. Keep the same exercises, just maybe include a slight variation. For example, full body day 1, month 1, you do regular squats. Next month you do pause squats, or you do a machine squat instead, or you do something related to the squat, just a slightly different variation. And every 4 to 6 weeks you revisit your plan, see what you want to change, see what you want to keep working on, and you kind of just go from there. But keep your workouts consistent to make sure that you can be repeating things over and over and over again to get better, to improve your performance, to improve your strength, to improve your form. Random workouts are not training. Training is specific, repetitive. It is a little bit boring. It should be boring. That means that you're doing the same thing over and over again, which is what you need to be doing. And it should be easy to track whether you're making progress or not. If none of those things are being done, you're just exercising. Again, that's fine. But if your goal is to build muscle and to get stronger and to learn how to use the gym properly and not be a beginner the rest of your life, then that's what it takes. That's what it requires. So consistency is going to be your best friend. If you guys like this video and you want me to talk about more mistakes that you could be potentially making in the gym as a beginner, let me know. I could probably make 70 parts to this because there's millions of things that I did wrong and I messed up. I am more than happy to do that. So again, expect that you're going to make mistakes. Don't expect yourself to be perfect. It takes time. You're learning a new skill. You're learning something new. It's going to feel weird. It's going to feel uncomfortable. But that's everybody. That happens to all of us. It's just a learning curve. It just takes a little bit of time, a little bit of patience and consistency, the beautiful ingredients to anything great in life. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, let me know below. Like the video. Make sure you subscribe for more videos like this. Share this video with a friend if they're also a beginner, or you know somebody who's a beginner and you know that this video would help them. It would help me spread the message out and help more people. I would truly appreciate your support in helping me do that by sharing it with somebody you know would benefit from it. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.